Hello and welcome everyone to our Srijan Institute and Training Center YouTube channel. So in this particular playlist we are going to start the object oriented programming in ABAP, and we are going to cover each and every section of it in detail with practical implementation. So this will be my very first session on YouTube, which will consist of introduction to this object oriented ABAP. So let's start it. So first part, introduction. Introduction. What is this object oriented ABAP? So OOPS stands for Object Oriented Programming System. Oriented Programming System. And what is this object oriented thing? Object oriented programming. Object oriented programming is completely or mainly based on two things. Based on two things. What are these two things? This is mainly based on two things. First one will be your class, and second one will be your method. Class and objects. So it is mainly based on two things, class and object. What is a class? So a class is a template, or blueprint which is used for creating objects. So what is this template? What is this template? What is this blueprint? So for example, let's say I have to create one house, or I have to build one house for me where I can live with my family. So what I will do for this thing, so I will connect with a builder, right? I'll connect with a builder for it, and that particular builder is going to create one template or design, and he will show it to me, right? Then I will select the design, right? Then I'm going to simply select that particular design, and based on that design, so let's write it here, and based on that design my house will be created. So here, that design is our class. Which is just a logical entity, and my house is the object, which will be the physical entity. So whenever we are going to create that design or class, so what I can say, a class defines the properties of the object. For example, the property of a human being and their behaviors completely depends on the genetical order of their parents. So properties and behaviors that object of the class will have, So what is this property? Properties are also called data or attributes. and behaviors are simply called methods in object oriented programming. So methods. Also in ABAP, a class can contain methods, attributes, events, interfaces, friends, etc. etc. And what is an object? An object is just an instance of the class. Instance of the class. An object is just an instance of the class, which is the physical entity. So a class is a logical entity which do not takes any space, right? It will not take any space on my land. It is just a virtual design that will be created, and an object is the physical entity which will take some space. Definitely it is going to take some space, right? Now if I talk about the types of classes, if I talk about the types of classes, there we will have our global class, and the second one will be the local class. Global class and local class. What is a global class? So a class which is available globally, and it can be accessed from any program also. It is called the global class. Global classes are defined in the global class pool, and that is why they are available to or throughout the SAP system. That is why they are global in nature, and we can create our global classes from SE24 transaction code. What is a local class? So a local class is a class which is defined within the scope of a ABAP program or function module. That is why it is a local class and it is local in nature, within the scope of a ABAP program or function module. It cannot be called outside from any other program. That is why it is local in nature. So local classes are defined and implemented within the class and end class syntax. That is why they are local in nature. Class and end class. Now if I talk about this global class, so what you see is in SAP system types of global classes. We see various types of global classes here also. Types of global classes. Let's discuss that part. Types of global classes. So first one will be your usual ABAP class. Usual ABAP class. This is the main ABAP class, ABAP or global class, which we usually create. This is the main global class that you are going to create normally, also known as usual ABAP class. Second one is persistent class. This class is mainly dedicated to perform the CRUD operations with the persistence storage like the database, which is in our case HANA database. Third one, exception class. This class is used to create the custom exceptions. So exception class, and at last will be your unit test class. This class is mainly used to test the functionality of a particular section of code or function module. Unit test class. So overall, what is a class? Just a template to create the object. We have got two types of classes, global and local. Local is limited, or it is defined within the scope of a ABAP program or function module. That is why it cannot be called outside the program. Global class is defined within the global class pool. That is why it is available throughout the SAP system, and we can call it from any program also. But if I talk about the global classes, they are four types: usual ABAP, persistence, exception, and unit test. Usual ABAP is a normal global class. Persistent is mainly used to perform CRUD operation with the persistent storage like HANA database, and then exception class is mainly used to create the custom exceptions, and at last we have the unit test class, which is used for testing a particular section of code. So this is all about our introduction to object oriented programming playlist on Srijan Institute and Training Center YouTube channel. So thank you very much for watching. We will continue from next part.